Good morning, everyone. In the previous sessions of global human resource development, I was explaining about the various models of HRM and why they are created, what are the various aspects of each and every model of HRM. So in my previous session, I have explained around four models of HRM, that is the Harvard model. Then I explained about the Michigan model, or you can also call it as the matching model. Then it was the guest model and then Warwick model. So these models I have explained it completely in terms of what does it mean, what are the various elements of these models, what are the advantages or what are the criticism these models have faced. And after that, and in today's session, I am going to explain about the fifth model. I have already given a brief introduction of this model in my previous session, but in this session again I am going to start with this model, that is the fifth one, Story model, and then I am going to explain what are the various elements which are part of Story model and how John Story focused on this model, focused on various aspects of how he created this model. So in today's session I am going to explain about Story model, and after that I am going to start a new topic which is called the system concept of HRD. This is a new topic. What is a system concept, how it is created. So in this system concept I am going to explain what is system concept, and then I am going to explain the various features of system concept. So let us begin the session with the Story model, the last model of HRM models. Okay. So, like I said, Story model was developed in the year 1989 and it was developed by John Story. And he believed that human resource management is a separate subject, is a separate discipline, and it is also very much different from the other disciplines. So he was actually he actually believed in that it is a holistic approach. You cannot take parts of human resource management. It is a holistic approach. It has various elements within it, and each and every element are interdependent and interrelated to each other. So that is his basic belief regarding human resource management. And because human resource management is so distinct, so distinctive from other aspects, the people who are working in an organization, who are part of the organization, must be treated as a valuable asset, because they are the people, they are that resource of the organization which manages all the other resources of the organization. And from that point of view, human resource must be considered as a valuable asset for every organization, and they needs to be treated like that. So that is the basic belief of Story. So in this model he has described four aspects, or you can say that four elements. And then he also gave a distinction, or sorry, he also described the difference between hard and soft version of HRM, how they are different from each other, and to what extent he believed in soft HRM, why soft HRM should be the approach to be followed by the organization. So these are the basic, we can say the basic description of Story model, what is the basic meaning of Story model. Now in the Story model, John Story focused on four important elements. These are the elements which are part of Story model, which helps him to explain how HR needs to be considered as a separate subject or a separate discipline. Okay, so the first one here says that belief and assumptions. So John Story always believed that HRM is a distinctive approach. It is different from the other elements or other factors of the organization or other departments of the organization. So it is a very distinctive approach. And how this approach, how this HRM is going to be different from other aspects? By having a set of beliefs and assumptions. So according to him, a set of beliefs and assumption actually makes HRM different from the other aspects of the organization. So that is the first point, or the first element he discussed, that HRM must have certain beliefs, certain assumptions, certain aspects which will make it different from the other aspects of the organization. And how it is different? Like the human resource. Here it says that according to him, human resource is the only resource which manages the other resource, and the effectiveness and efficiency of the entire organization is actually because of the workforce who are working within the organization. We can actually finally say that the performance of the entire organization actually depends upon the human resource. So if an organization is doing well, if the organization is successful, and all these things, the actual element which is behind the success of the entire organization, behind the performance of the organization, behind the efficiency of the organization, is the human resource. So here, according to him, human resource needs to be considered as the most important resource. It must be treated like a valuable asset for the organization, because the success, the effectiveness of any organization actually depends upon the people who are working within the organization. And from that point of view, these people must be treated in a better way. They must be given certain benefits. They must be, their welfare must be the most important aspect for every organization. So these beliefs and assumption is that treating human resource, believing that human resource is the most important resource of every organization, and providing them with all the facilities which they require for development, for training, and for better performance. So that is the first point described by John Story. Now there is another factor which John Story believed, that the relationship between the employees and the management. Now this relationship needs to be a good and healthy working relationship. Now I'll just give an example how to create a good working relationship or good relationship between management and employees. Only if the management provides certain opportunities to the employees, if the employees are committed towards the job, if the employees are loyal towards the company, so all these things will be possible, because if the management takes care of their employees, provides required opportunity, required benefits. So here it says that in order to maintain a healthy relationship between management and the employees need to be more committed towards the job. The employees, the management needs to provide many facilities to the employees. There must be mutual trust between them. So this is one of the basic belief of John Story, that in order to make employees satisfied, in order to get the commitment from the employees, the management must provide certain things to the employees for their development. At the same time, the employees must give the organization a better performance. They must be dedicated towards the job. They must be loyal towards the company. So by following these things only, there will be a healthy relationship between the management and the employee. So this is the first element of the Story model. The second one here says that strategic qualities. So he also focused on the fact that HRM is very strategic in nature. And in order to maintain this aspect, because this is the aspect which makes HRM a different approach, a distinctive approach than the other approaches. So according to him, that HRM is a strategic approach, and in order to maintain and create a proper HRM system, there must be support from the top executives, because they are the people who create HR strategies, the corporate strategies, the various policies. Now these strategies and policies must be created in such a way that it helps the organization for achieving its goal, but at the same time it also helps benefits the employees who are working within the organization. See, employees or organization is working under a business environment. Various external factors affect the operation of the business, affect the internal operations of the business. At the same time, employees are also influenced by the external factors. So in this competitive environment where there are many companies producing the same product, providing the same kind of service, and they always require efficient and talented employees. So in order to maintain these employees, we must have some kind of strategy, we must have some kind of policy through which we can encourage our employees to stay within the organization. So here it says that there must be certain kind of strategy created to maintain or retain the human resource. And for that aspect, the contribution or the support of the top executives are very important. He also believed that employees are an important source of competitive advantage. See, a group of people very efficient, they will be very efficient in terms of assessing various types of opportunity in the market and taking those steps which can help the organization to take advantage of such opportunities. So here it says that a efficient and talented group of people provides tough competition to the competitors. So because in order to have a competitive advantage over the competitors, the organization must focus on retaining efficient and talented people. There must be some kind of professionalism within the organization, treating employees better, providing better opportunities, providing better facilities. So this creates a proper strategy for maintaining human resource so that they can have competitive advantage over the competitors. So the third point here says that role of line manager. Now, according to him, line managers play a very important role in human resource management. Like I said, human resource is one of the most important asset, and it is also very difficult to manage human resource because they have to deal with many people, different types of people having different mindset, having different behavior, having different personalities, and managing them and making them work in a cooperative manner, in a coordinated way, is an extremely difficult task. And for that purpose, the involvement of line manager is very necessary. So that this, the management of human resource is a very complicated aspect, because in order to understand a person, it is very difficult to understand a person, and it is also very difficult to understand so many people with different characteristics, with different features. So here it says that the line manager plays here a very important role, because they are the people who can actually understand the people who are working within the company. They have the capability of managing them so well that everything will work in a proper coordinated manner, and people are going to work with proper cooperation and dedication. He believed that the line managers can actually help the organization to create better relationship between employers and employees, between the managers and the employees, and top executives and the employees. So that's why that's why line managers play a very crucial role in human resource management. Next one is key levers. This is the last element mentioned by John Story. So in this last point, he focused on one of the most important element, that is called culture management. Now, according to him, managing different strategies and managing other aspects of organization, the systems, the various procedure is very important. But at the same time, the management of the culture which is a part of the organization, is also extremely important. So according to him, HRM or the management of human resource can only be done in a better way if an organization focuses on the culture aspect, that is culture management. So what is culture? Culture actually helps the organization to follow a set of beliefs, a set of values, which actually makes the organization different from the other organization. Now, these values and beliefs will help the organization to create HR strategies, to create corporate plans. So this is the actual system which actually provides, the culture management actually provides flexibility to the organization, and it also increases the commitment level of the employees towards the organization and towards the job which they are performing. So here the last element here, it clearly says that in order to manage the human resource in a better way, it is necessary to have a culture of the organization which is very flexible in nature, which can adjust according to the requirements, according to various changes. At the same time, this culture also helps the organization to introduce new types of strategies, new types of plans, and also help the employees to accept the culture, to adjust according to the culture. So according to him, focusing more time or focusing too much on the procedures and the systems of the organization, it is better to focus on the culture of the organization. Create a culture, create a working environment within which the employees feel comfortable, within which the employees feel that they have certain level of job security. So these are the things needs to be focused within an organization. So these are the four elements mentioned by John Story. So this is the last model which I have explained. So in total, I have explained 5 important models of HRM. Okay, starting with Harvard model. So because it is the last model, after this I am going to explain a completely new topic that is called system concept of HRD. So system concept, system, the word itself says that it is defined as an organized whole made of elements. System means it contains many elements within itself, and these elements are related to each other and are dependent on each other. So this is what it makes a system. Okay. So the word system, usually we come across to this word, we have already heard about this word many times. So system basically means, we can say, like it is mentioned here, a whole made of elements, a group of elements which are part of a system, and they share certain kind of relationship with each other. Each and every element of a system, they have a relationship with each other. They are interlinked, they are interdependent, and they are interrelated. So they are very well connected within the system. So that creates a system, a proper connection of different elements, a proper, we can say, elements which are dependent on each other. Those sets of elements create a system. So here we are talking about the system, that system concept of HRD. Now this system can also mean a group of people working together in the organization, and the various elements of the organization bind these people with each other. Means when we are working in an organization as individuals, we come across many people, we work in a department, we work as a team. So these people, we are related to these people, and we are also interdependent and interconnected, because the job which we do, because of the other elements which are part of the organization. So people working in one department are also related to people working in another department. All those things happen because an organization has many elements and they are interconnected to each other. So here it says that a system is simple. It is a combination of elements, contains many elements who have relationship with each other, who are related to each other, and they are also connected, and they are also dependent on each other. So that is the actual meaning of the word system. Now these elements, like I said, these elements have certain relationship with each other, and if one element is not able to perform properly, or having some problem influenced by many other factors, it will also affect the other elements also. Like I said, if there are certain external environment, if there are certain external environments which affect the organization, it will not only affect one element of the organization, it will affect the entire organization. If one element is affected by any kind of change, by any kind of external factor, it will also affect the other elements which are part of the organization, only because they have certain kind of relation. They are related to each other, they are interconnected to each other. Okay. So the next point here says that there are 3 pillars of the organization: people, the organization itself, and the last one is the tech. So these 3 pillars of organization are actually the most important part of the, or we can say these 3 elements actually create the system of the organization. Obviously people who are working within the organization, they manage each and every aspect of the organization. Organization itself means the values, principles, the culture of the organization, which facilitates the people to work in a certain manner. So these are the 2 elements. Third one is technology. Technology is very important, because without technology, organization cannot operate, cannot give competition to the competitors, cannot survive in the market, and they need to also make many changes in the technological aspect of the organization also. So these 3 elements create the pillars of the organization. Okay. Now what is HRD as a system? because this is a system concept of HRD. So why we consider HRD as a system? Obviously, it has many elements within it, but what is the importance of each and every element? How it is created as a system? Why it is required to become or be a system? So here it says that HRD as a system is a process concerned with organized pattern of learning activities. No, now these learning activities means that it is a process which is concerned with various patterns organized in a proper way, through which there are many activities can be learned. So these activities needed to be learned in a specific time period. So what is the consequences of these activities? The consequences is that these activities will lead to certain kind of changes in the behavior of the human resource. Okay, so first of all, it is a process which is concerned with organized pattern of learning activities. So these organized pattern of learning activities must be conducted within a specified time period, and the consequences which will lead to the consequences is the changes in the behavior of the organization. So these organized learning activities will actually make some kind of changes in the behavioral pattern or behavioral aspect of the human resource working within the organization. So why do we need to actually change the behavioral aspect of the people working in the organization? So this change here actually means that is changing the behavior in such a way that it actually fulfills the expectations of the organization. That is, our employees who are working in the organization, they must have that level of competency which will help the employees to work efficiently at their present job, and at the same time they need to learn many more things so that they will be suitable for future higher level jobs. Okay, so here this point simply means that HRD operates as a system. It is a process which has many activities or learning activities, and these learning activities lead to behavioral changes within a specific time period. Now these changes are in accordance to the expectations of the organization regarding the competency and knowledge level of the employees, so that they will be suitable for performing the present job, and they will be also learning many things so that they can become suitable for future higher position job. So this simply means that making changes in the human resource according to the requirement of the organization for the present jobs as well as for the future jobs. So that is HRD working as a system. So that's why HRD needs to work as a system, so that each and every aspect, whether it is performance appraisal, whether it is training, needs to become part of HRD, so that these different aspects of this process can actually be fulfilled. Okay. Now the second point here says that it is a complete integrated system which includes various subsystems. So it is a systems which has various subsystems and which are interrelated and interconnected to each other. For example, you must have learned in HRM that first function of HRM is HRP, then recruitment, selection, then placement, induction. These are the training, development, many more functions are there. So in HRD, if you are going to focus only on one element, that is training. So what does training do? It trains the employees, provides knowledge and skills to the employees which are necessary to do the present job. But development programs actually helps the employees to develop themselves so that they will become suitable for future higher position. It increases their capabilities, it increases their potentials, and it also increases the performance level of the employees. So here it says that being a combination of subsystem, HRD cannot focus only on one aspect. So it needs to focus on various aspects, whether it is performance appraisal, whether it is counseling, whether it is employee welfare, whether it is training, development. So these are the various subsystems and they are related to each other. Performance appraisal, the performance of an employee. What does actually performance appraisal means? Recording the performance of the employees for a particular time period and analyzing the performance using various methods, how well the employee has performed. But for that performance appraisal, we need to first train the employees to do their job properly. So, okay, so here it says that without training, performance appraisal cannot give the desired performance. We cannot get the expected performance from the employees. So every subsystem, they are interrelated to each other. They are incomplete without each other. We cannot only focus on one subsystem. So the second point here says that it is a complete integrated system and includes various subsystems which are related to each other. Now the third point here says that the subsystems are arranged in hierarchical and integrated form to accomplish the overall goals of the organization. So why an organization appoint people, why they make the candidates go through various selection process in order to find the suitable candidate, why do they provide training, why do they make their employees go through the development programs, why they offer counseling, why they are concerned about the welfare of the employees. So these are the things which they actually do for the employees is for achievement of the organizational goals, because human resource is going to help the organization to achieve its goals and targets. And for that, from that point of view, the subsystems needs to be arranged in a proper sequence, in a hierarchical, or we can say in an integrated manner. We cannot appraise the performance of the employees or after a performance appraisal, we cannot give them training. We have to train them first. Then we have to appraise the performance of the employees. Then we have to find out the various areas in which they need more training or more development. Then again, we have to give them training and development. We have to provide them counseling. So these must be done in a proper sequence. And if it is not done in a proper sequence, the human resource cannot be managed properly, and they will not help the organization. They cannot contribute towards the organization in achievement of goals of the organization. So here it simply says that the subsystems needs to be arranged in a proper hierarchy, or we can say that in a proper sequence, so that it will help the organization to achieve the goals. Okay, the goals, the objectives, or the targets of the organization. So this is the actual meaning of HRD as a system. This is the system concept of human resource development. Now let us discuss what are the various features of system concept of HRD. Okay, the first point here says that the system is goal oriented. In the last point, like I have explained, why we are creating a system in an organized way, in a proper sequence. The ultimate reason behind this is achievement of the organizational goal. So whatever system is created, it needs to be created in such a way that it will help the organization to achieve its target, to achieve its goals. Okay, that is the first feature of the system concept. Next one, the whole is more than the sum of all parts of the system. Whole means the entire system. Now I'll give an example. There are two group of people. Okay, the first group works as a team. The work is given to the entire team and they all are working as a team. And to the second group, the work is divided among the group members. So each and every member has a particular task to do. So now what we are going to do? We are going to combine the task of the people who are doing the task in an individual manner. And then we are going to compare this performance with the performance of a team, of a group who are working as a team. If you compare both the sets of performance, the performance of a group who are working as a team, their performance will be much better than the collection of individual performance, combination of individual performance. So that aspect is applied here. So when we are taking the human resource development system as one system, their performance will be much better. But if we are going to simply add the different parts of the system, it may not be that effective. So system needs to be considered as one, not as different parts. So that's why it is mentioned as a system. It has many parts, but they are so connected to each other, they need to be treated like a whole system instead of treating each and every part as a separate element or separate aspect. Okay. So the third point here says that the third feature says that a system is engaged in transformation of inputs to outputs. That is the most important thing. See, every system has a objective. So here the objective of HRD system is to transfer the inputs to outputs, to convert the inputs to output. Here the inputs we can consider as the human resource, like they have joined the organization, the way they have joined the organization with a particular set of skills, knowledge and everything. The HRD system develops them, trains them, makes them more capable, makes them more efficient, which leads to the output, that is the desired performance from the organization point of view. Organization has certain expectation from the employees. What kind of performance is expected from the employees, from the organization? That is the output. So they take human resource as input, they provide them with opportunities, trainings, development, they guide them in different way, which will lead to the expected performance. So conversion of input into output. Okay. Next one says that various components of subsystems are interrelated and interdependent. Okay. So interrelated and interdependent means, like I said, performance appraisal is related to training and development. Training and development is also related to counseling, welfare and everything. Promotion, internal mobility, providing them with opportunities. So these various components, they are related to each other. They are dependent upon each other. So we cannot separate them. We cannot isolate them. So they need to, they need to work as a system, as a whole system, instead of working as just a part of the system. Okay. So that's why they are interrelated, interdependent. They cannot be isolated. They have to work as one system. Okay. The next one says that the subsystems interact with each other. So without getting any kind of data from one system, one subsystem, the other subsystem may not operate in a proper way. So there must be interaction between the subsystem, there must be proper connection, there must be flow of information within these systems, so the HRD as one system can operate in an efficient manner. Okay. So the next point here says that, so the system acts upon its environment and it is also acted upon by the environment. It is very simple. The external environment affects the HRD system and the other components of the organization also affects the HRD system. In the same way, HRD system also has influence over the other environmental factors or other components of the organization. So it is a two-way process. If the external environment of HRD system affects the HRD system, in the same way HRD system also affects the external environment of its, it also affects its external environment. So it is a, like I said, two-way process. External environment affects the system and system also has major influence over the other aspects of the organization. Okay. The next one here says that it can be looked upon as extension of every department of the organization, or we can say extension of office of every department. Why? Because it deals with human resource and in every department there are people working under it. So HRD system is not only focused on the HR department, or this system includes all the employees working in different departments, working in different offices, working in different designation. So every department, you can consider it as an extension of every department which is part of the organization, because they train every employee working in the organization belonging to any department. They provide them counseling, they give them promotion, and different types of subsystems are also there. Appraisal, the performance appraisal of every employee takes place irrespective of the department to which they belong. So it acts as an extension of every department. Next one, it is considered as a nerve system of HRD. So when we organize HRD as a system, the success and failure actually depends upon the effectiveness of the system. So if we do not create this system, HRD may not operate in a proper manner. So without a proper system, without a proper arrangement of a system, HRD cannot operate. So from that point of view, the system concept, the concept which has made HRD to work as a system, acts as a nerve system for the HRD. Okay. Next one here says that a complete system analysis of HRD is meaningful only in the context HRD in a particular organization. Now, if you are going to analyze HRD system, we can find out that every organization has different policies, the way they handle the people, the way they manage the people. They have different point of view regarding the human resource development aspect. So here it says that if you want to analyze, if you want to have a complete analysis of HRD, we have to make it from organizational point of view. Every organization will have a different HRD system. So we cannot say that one organization is following one HRD system, so that must be applicable to every other organization. The HRD system will be different from organization to organization. So when we are considering to analyze a HRD system, we must focus on one particular organization only, that this organization has created this type of HRD system, and whether they are successful or unsuccessful, that is a different aspect. So the analysis of HRD system can only be meaningful if it is made on the context of one organization, on a context of a particular organization. Okay. So these are the features of system concept. So today I have explained about what is a system concept, what is HRD, means HRD system, or how HRD works as a system, and then I have explained all the features of the system concept, how it is beneficial for HRD to have a system, to work as a system. In the next session, I am going to explain the various subsystems. What are the various subsystems which create the HRD system? So that's it for today. So we will meet in next session. Thank you.